to order at 6:31. Can I get roll call, please?
Tom Crossman here. Paul's Graf here.
Brianna Texoni here. Lester Mascon is absent. 1C, regular board meeting agenda. Can we move it in?
I'll move it in. Sorry.
Hi, good evening. We don't have any changes to the January 12th board agenda. Thank you.
I have a proposed change. Business services, item B, business department overview. That was at the request of Secretary Mascon. He's not here this evening. I'd like to see, this is basically kind of a know your district overview of a department function. I'd like to see this tabled until he can come back here and participate in the discussion. Once that discussion is done, then I think what happens is it gets archived along with several other ones that I think should come along that follow this kind of thing. So we have an archived library of how things function and get that out of the way and not have to discuss it every 6 months. Second, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
So approval of the meeting agenda with the exception of tabling item 11B. Can I get a motion?
You had that. We are.
Oh, we already did that. Sorry. All those in favor?
Tom Crossman, yes. Paul's Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Vote 4-0-1. 2A, public participation. Public has a right to comment on any items of the closed session agenda. Members of the public will be permitted to comment on any other item within the board's jurisdiction under section 6A, public comment at board meetings. Do we have any public participation?
Not for 2A, not at this time. Thank you.
3A, closed session discussion items, conference with labor negotiations, public employee discussion, discipline, dismissal, release, conference with legal counsel and student matters may be discussed in closed session. Can I get a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Paul's Graf, move.
All those in favor?
Paul's Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 4-0-1, adjourn to closed session at 6:34. reconvene the regular board meeting at 7:49 PM. We'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and start with the flag salute. Tim, can you lead us in the flag salute?
Hands over your heart, ready to begin.
Ken, would you like to read the civility statement, please?
Surely, when conducting district business, we will communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you. Number 5, closed session, report of action taken in closed session. There was action taken in closed session. I have to report out that the board approved a communication memo sent to CCTC by vote of 3-1-1. The board voted to accept the superintendent's recommendation regarding a personnel matter by a vote of 4-0-0. Yes, that's perfect. Public 6, public comments, recognitions, and reports. Please submit a request to speak to the Board of Trustees card located on the exhibit table for any agendized or non-agendized items to the superintendent prior to the meeting. Not more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker, no more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments, recognitions, and reports to the board and is not intended to be a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy, and an administrator will provide answers at a later date. Do we have any comments?
Yes, Ms. Tax, only one public comment card. Thank you.
Thank you. Brody.
Good evening. Brody V. Senior, and I'm a proud, excited BHS student, and I'm glad to be here. On behalf of the senior basketball players, I just want to thank every person for attending the Vasquez Boys Basketball Senior Night last night. It was an incredible, oh my gosh. It was incredible to see the support of the community, board members, and our fantastic school district. Last night was a reflection of a small town community rallying around their hometown high school. The gym was packed and the energy was contagious. It was truly a night that I will bank in my memories for a long time. Nights like this are what make a small town school district spectacular. It's what separates us from the large districts where students are just a number. The varsity senior boys basketball players would personally like to thank the following. From the board members, Mr. Jorgensen for attending the home games, Mr. Falsgraf for supporting their seniors wearing all black, and a huge thanks to Mrs. Brianna Taxoni for announcing last night's game and introducing all the seniors in the team. From the DO, Superintendent Dr. Sahakian and Ms. Hillary for your support and cheer from the stands, and an enormous thank you to Miss Amy Frank for coordinating the details for the BHS Senior Night. It was awesome. From the High Desert, thank you to Principal Miss Van Ornum for supporting and arranging a Hawks student to literally become the Mustang mascot, so we could have a Mustang doing cartwheels and cheering for our team. Thank you to the High Desert Spirit Squad for your excitement and smiles. Last but not least, our Vasquez Mustangs. Thank you to Principal Dr. Chamberlain, Mr. Sparks, Ms. Salcedo, Ms. Linnea, Ms. Owens, Mrs. Lundquist, Ms. Rebecca, Ms. T, Ms. Steelwell, Ms. Tony Baker, the coaches from football, Coach Tommy and Coach Will, coaches from, coaches from cross country and girls basketball, such as Coach Mari, working with the scoreboard, Coach EJ with the constant support. They all came out and displayed Mustang spirit. Thank you to the VHS cheerleaders and Coach Celeste for your enthusiasm, our PTSO president, Ms. Tracy Costin, for always taking the best pictures, VHS, ASB, students, and their advisor, Ms. Torres. Community members, Ms. Wendy Calvin, for also taking the senior pictures and capturing the moments. There were many that I'm sure I haven't noticed, and I'm truly sorry. As I begin to finish my senior year and start planning my future at Cal Lutheran University, it's moments like these that will remind me a memory is a joy forever. Thank you again for allowing us to feel like all-stars for the night.
Anybody else? Good. Point of order. We made an agenda change. I suggested that an item on the business agenda, item 11B, be pulled tonight in case anyone is here to hear that. It's kind of like a know your district presentation by Mr. Mirza. And it kind of familiarizes you with what's going on under the things under his wheelhouse. That was a request of board secretary Mascon, who can't be here tonight. So that will be tabled to the next meeting. Now I'm excited to move up the golden spotlight and get all of you in bed and then we'll just sit up here and babble after you all leave.
Okay, so 6B, golden spotlight.
Thank you, Ms. Saxony. How do you follow Brody? Brody, I mean, he's a prime example of our students here at our district, eloquent, thoughtful, and mindful. Thank you for that. All right, talk about all-stars, to borrow his words. Tonight, we're celebrating our cross-country champions from both Vasquez and High Desert. We have our wonderful student athletes clearly here. Thank you for being here for this recognition. And we have our wonderful coaches. We can start off the recognition tonight with the Vasquez girls cross-country team led by our excellent coaches, Miss Mary McClaws and Miss Molly Zorba. So if you're here, please stand up. Thank you, Ms. McClaws. And our student athletes for tonight's recognition from, again, Vasquez cross-country girls. Marina Costin. Yes. If you hear your name, please stand.
Can we have the athletes along with the coach come up here so we can, everybody can see we have an opportunity for photos and stuff?
Absolutely. Yes. So
Marina's
Ms.
not
McClaws,
tonight. She's not
come
doing
on,
well.
come on up. Ms. Zorba. Thank you. Marina Costin. Thank you. Round of applause. Emily Hunanya, we know you're here. Isabella Lara. Leilani McClaws. Marie Pape. Haley Rudd. And last but not least, Mackenzie Van Ornum. Let's give a big round of applause to our champions and our wonderful coaches. Yeah. Photo with the board or?
Are we?
You make us proud. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Oh, yeah. Oh. I take it back. Yes, let's stand up there for 15 more minutes. Here tonight, thank you, Mr. Saxony. We have Mr. Brandon Rope representing Okay? I apologize. But the last name's Sahakian, I should get everybody else's right. He's representing Senator Wilk's office. Thank you. We have Mr. Basile representing Assemblyman Lackey's office. And we do have Ms. Donna Basile on behalf of County Supervisor Catherine Barker standing in. Congratulations. Thank you for being here.
Great. Great, great. All right. Yes. All right. You understand. Yes. Very good. You know, it's always not good.
Can we get a picture with all of you?
Like that way. Just one more.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. And again, congratulations. All right, next we have our High Desert Middle School Boys Cross Country team led by wonderful coaches, Miss Mervat Tafik and Miss Mary Ann Dahlstrom. If you're here, please come up to the front. We want to congratulate you. All right, student athletes, if you hear your name, we see you in the back. We're going to be pulling you up to the front so we can see your faces. Eli, Alanis, Ryan, Alanis, Ezra Beaumont, Nigel Bruce, Zach Chambers. All right. Patrick Ellis. Dylan Finn. Wyatt Goodman. Benjamin Hegum. Connor Koopman. Christopher Larson. Vincent Ortiz. Leonardo Rivas. Lucien Rose. Joshua Plouffe. And last but not least, Cole Duke. Steve. I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Hawks, coaches, Mr. Roque, Mr. and Mrs. Basile. Thank you for your support of our district. Congratulations, parents.
We're trying to change our name, but you just. Yes, thanks for. We have the meeting back.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna go ahead and move on to item 7. 7A, add a representative. We do not have an ADA representative. 7B, CSEA representative.
Are,
Did you say he's here now? Okay. So 7B, CSEA representative, Ms. T.
Miss T. No, I saved my full name, right? Merva Chowker. Okay. So I'm welcoming the new board member and thank you.
You can take it out so you can.
No, that's good. I can speak so loud. So I'm welcome, yeah. Welcome to the new member and thank you for all the hard work. And I don't have anything to say at this time, really. Thank you.
Thank you. Student representative.
Okay, so because this is like only our 3rd day back from winter break, everyone's just been sort of adjusting to coming back to school. So things are just starting to kick back into place. So I don't have too much to say. But at High Desert, we've had soccer tryouts and there was a huge turnout with like 60 kids showing up. And next week, High Desert will be having an award ceremony for the semester. And they'll be highlighting students with academic awards, Medal of Honor, star reading, etc. Just a lot of awards. And at our high school, things have been going well. Athletics are good. As Brody said, yesterday was senior night for our boys basketball, and they also won the game, which was nice. Soccer has been going well. Both of our girls and boys teams have home games. On Saturday, the guys will be playing at 12. Spring practices have been starting. You can see the softball players and the baseball players getting ready for their seasons. Winter formal is being in the works for being planned. And we've also received the new science textbooks, which is really nice. That's about it. Thank you. New science textbooks.
Thank you, Emily. 7D Superintendent Gold Standard Report.
thank you. Tonight I'll be covering 2 initiatives from the strategic plan, 1.0 student achievement and 3.0 community engagement. For student achievement, it's a little bit wordy for those who are zooming in, so I apologize, but I will review that now. Research shows a direct correlation between student achievement and students' well-being. On January 5th, our district received notification of a grant being awarded through the U.S. Department of Education. The superintendent's office submitted the grant request for a proposal back in early November. For the project director at the U.S. Department of Education, and I quote when I received this email, this is a quote from them, "This year's competition was highly competitive. We, the U.S. Department of Education, received more than 185 applications and made only 67 awards. Our district's application was among the highest scoring applications received and therefore recommended for full funding. The district will embark on the grant initiatives with the following projects. Well, it would be nice if I mentioned the grant's name. The grant's name is Mental Health Demonstration Professional Grant, and that is being provided to us and awarded to us again by the U.S. Department of Education. Some of the grant activities that we will be embarking on, because the funding was effective as of January 1st. Hiring of 1 full-time licensed clinical social worker. This would be in addition to the 1 full-time licensed clinical social worker we will be hiring through the Department of Justice grant that was recently awarded to the district. We will be hiring 3 full-time masters of social workers. They will be supervising 3 social worker interns. What this means for our 3 sites, there will be full coverage of social workers and mental health providers by at least 2 professionals 5 days a week throughout the academic calendar. We'll be purchasing an anonymous reporting solution platform for the district website and its coordination for those wanting to report anonymous reports, kind of the see something, say something. Purchasing of a suicide prevention module. The curriculum will be facilitated by the social workers, age appropriate, for the age appropriate students. And we'll also be purchasing a program, an evidence-based program called Bounce Back. It's a cognitive behavioral skills-based group intervention aimed at relieving symptoms of child anxiety and depression among students ages 5 through 11 who have been exposed to traumatic events in their young lives. Finally, the funding amount awarded to the district by the U.S. Department of Education is $3.6 million over the course of the grant's duration, which is 5 years. The next item I'd like to go ahead and address, please. Under community engagement. So you see an infographic that will be going out to our entire community of students, staff, parents in the next week. A comprehensive strategic planning process designed to update the existing plan has been well underway since the fall of this academic calendar. And I've been sharing tidbits here and there with the superintendent report in the past several months. We've conducted listening sessions recently, and these listening sessions really helped us to identify priorities that stakeholders thought we should be focusing in on as a school district. In addition, a comprehensive survey was pushed out to all of our stakeholders in the community. In the next few months, we'll be receiving additional stakeholder input in the form of a strategic plan leadership team. Some of the key discussion items that I shared and requesting for input from stakeholders happen to be, what do you see as our strengths as a school district? What improvements would you like to see? What changes in our community do you foresee in the next 3 to 10 years that we would need to address as a school district? What are some of the most important actions the district should take to ensure all students are well prepared for furthering their education? And upon graduation from high school, what do you hope our students will be able to know and be able to do? The survey in of itself asks participants to provide input on the existing 5 initiatives of the existing plan. The listening sessions and surveys yielded the following overarching strengths and areas of growth that are needed. Again, everybody will get this infographic via email through the IT department, pushing it out to emails that are on file. Areas of strength included, we are a small district, that was a plus, strong sense of community, staff commitment to student achievement, district prepares students to enter college and career opportunities, district signature programs such as AVID, CTE Labs, Makerspace, innovative technology in the classroom, safety protocols in place at school sites, and student engagement through programs, athletics, and extracurricular activities at the school sites. Areas of growth needed included impact of increase of enrollment that we saw for 22-23 school year, which then ties into the facilities expansion need. We've been addressing staffing shortages, and this was addressed in the survey and listening sessions. Engaging a diverse community of stakeholders, allowing stakeholders additional opportunities to provide input, provide a comprehensive parent education, increase accountability across the board, not the Board of Trustees, across the district, for clarification, and provide additional academic intervention at our school sites. The next steps in the process will be developing, like I mentioned earlier, a strategic plan leadership team, which will be comprised of 25 to 30 stakeholders or educational partners. The partners will be parents that are interested in joining, staff, community members, for example. They'll be tasked with taking the findings and the results and kind of filtering them down into key components that will make up what will be the responsibility of the writing team to update the existing strategic plan. And this concludes my report for this evening. Thank you, Ms. Texoli.
Thank you. 7E COVID-19 report.
Thank you. In our two communities served, Acton and Agua Dulce, there have been 70 new cases of COVID-19 since our last report, and 24 cases in the past 2 weeks. In our school district community, only one positive case has been reported since December 14th, and exposure notifications were provided to those affected. We want to remind parents to test their students if they have any illness, symptoms, and keep them home if there's any symptoms such as fever, vomiting, and unusual cough. Again, home test kits are available at all school sites. We ask that all families document their home results on the primary health platform. Please contact your provider, local pharmacy, or LA County website if you need to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Again, our health department, Ms. Carrie Wright, would like to go ahead and reiterate that we are in flu season and RSV is on the rise in LA County. We recommend getting your flu shot and COVID vaccine now to ensure that we keep our students safe from adverse reactions to the virus, flu, and the COVID-19. And again, I really want to thank District Nurse Ms. Carrie Wright for her insight, her knowledge, and updating our community. And that concludes the COVID report. Thank you.
Thank you. 7F submissions.
This evening, we do not have any submissions to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 8 board comments. Tim?
Okay, I'll get this started. Okay, first I want to welcome everybody back from the holiday break. I'm hopeful that you enjoyed your travel time and holiday time and rest time with family and friends, and that you're back and we're ready to go. Like Emily said, it's only been 3 days, so we expect good things. Excuse me. Secondly, I want to congratulate the cross-country athletes from High Desert and Vasquez. As a coach, my head says run. I like to run, but my legs don't move that fast. So I do what I can when I was there to help the cross-country team to run about our country and run around the campuses and stuff. So I know it's hard work, but the success is that these adults come in and help work and perform and give the opportunities for our students on both campuses, High Desert now at Vasquez, so that they can transition there and become Hawks, become Mustangs. And so congratulations to all the students and the coaches for their hard work. As Brody so eloquently put it, he said the winter sports are going, and Emily mentioned the winter sports are going on over at the high school. And I was fortunate enough to attend the senior night for boys basketball, and I'm looking, oh, where's the girls? Well, I think the girls have one senior, and they're going to do their senior night later in the month, January 27th or something. I was talking to one of the coaches about that, but it'll be a one lady show. It'll just be one senior, but have the same recognition for achievements. But the boys game was exciting. Like Brody said, everybody was there, and the referees had some very able assistants on the boundaries of the court. And we were helping them out, supporting them throughout the game. It was an awesome game. And so I want to give a shout out to our senior boys athletes, Jovi, Adam, Johnny, and Adrian, the twins, and of course, Brody. You can see the work there, and they scored with success that allowed some of the junior members of the squad to get court time during senior night. And you can watch the team grow as they make they kept presenting opportunities for these junior members to score. whether that be at the free throw line, everybody was going, give them the ball, shoot, shoot, shoot. And it was fun to see. And those are things you see in our special community. So Brody, pass on to all your athletes and your coaches. We were pleased. It was an exciting night. I know mom and dad are here. And we all give each other high fives and we hang around. They're like rock stars coming out of the locker room. We're all waiting for them to come out of the locker room. I think they want to go out the back door sometimes because all the adults are waiting for them. But anyway, pass on to your the boys and the girls. Got there for the girls game, though they weren't as successful against Boron. They still, the excitement and the pride that I have that we have adults that will coach the girls and provide them the opportunity to play girls basketball. It's growing, it's getting back. The cross-country coach helps out so that we have two coaches for our girls. And it was fun to watch them. They're very aggressive, they're moving, and they have almost their entire team coming back next year. They only have one senior. So it's going to be exciting for the girls. And again, reminder, we'll have it coming out. I think the senior night's going to be later this month. It'll be fun to go out and support the girls as well. So I want to send congratulations, Dr. Zahakian, on the success of this grant application. And it's by no small measure that out of the thousands of schools that were eligible to apply, I think you mentioned that there was like 160 something that actually took the time and the effort to write a grant, which is very challenging in itself, submit it to our federal government, which is a bureaucracy that is like really slow. But the money was there, you recognized the opportunity, you presented it. And the part that I really want to give accolades to is that we went through a very rapid deterioration of educational opportunities for our students due to COVID. Now we're on the slow recovery and there's lots of impact. Students are coming back to classes, they're challenged, the socialization, there's a lot of mental challenges that our students are facing. And I think this grant is going to facilitate that. The money is significant, and I'm doubly excited that it's a grant specifically addressing the mental health of our employees, particularly our students. And so thank you, Dr. Zahakian, for recognizing it, seizing the opportunity for staff that put the grant together, got it submitted, everybody who participated, because it's for the well-being of our students. And I look forward to, like Emily says, day 4 is coming up tomorrow. And we'll look for some exciting times coming out of all of our schools, Meadowlark, High Desert, and Vasquez. Thanks.
Happy New Year, everybody. And we're already 2 weeks in, and it's just like, it feels like the year's already just going 100 miles an hour and we're already deep into it. But I'll say that the boys cross country at the middle school, fantastic, because the high school needs boys on the cross country team. So the timing is perfect. So thank you, Ms. T, for getting those boys excited, and hopefully they'll all move up when they get into high school, and we'll have a nice strong boys team like we have a strong girls team. The listening sessions in the report. This strategic planning is super important, and I'm looking forward to getting people interested in being part of the leadership team, getting stakeholders. And when we say stakeholders, we mean everybody. This is your chance to express what you want to see in this school district. And that's what we're here for. So I urge everybody to keep an eye on the strategic planning and what the opportunities will be for you guys to be heard. So it's very important. And with that, I'll just give it to Ken here. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to put my wishes out to Secretary Mascon that he heals up and gets back to work with us. We're already coming together really well. Sometimes back there are difficult issues to discuss, but everybody brings their own opinion and everything, and that's going to work when everybody figures out we're here to be cohesive and that type of thing. So did want to comment a little bit about this agenda item, business department overview. I work in an agency that has something called Team Insert Your City's Name here. And anybody that wants to serve on a commission or city council attends training sessions where they visit every department in the city, see every function. When you're visiting public works, you might run a backhoe. When you're up in the city manager's office, you'll talk to the city attorney. So there's segmented parts where you learn how the city operates. And then when it comes time to serve on a commission or even city council, a lot of the background work of understanding what is going on is already there. And the quicker you can move everybody up to that level, when we're up here, the quicker. I've always said, to be a good board member, you really have to be able to build consensus with the rest of your board and bring a skill set in. And we have a diverse skill set up here. And I like that. When Secretary Mascon asked for this, it's about purchasing. We want everybody to understand purchasing, insurance, and all those kinds of things. What I would really like to see is, this is kind of an opportunity for Know Your District, where you do a presentation about whatever it is, facilities, education or whatever, and you build a bank of those and put them up on the district website. That way, anybody that's interested in how things work, we don't have to do campaign promises and stunts every 2 and 4 years to trash each other. We can just get up here and go to work. And I'd like to see that as much as possible. Again, consensus is a really important thing. People have asked me at work, they kind of think it's humorous that me at work does this. And they say, what is it like? Public service. I said, there's nothing more powerful than knowing that everyone in a room hates you as much as one human being can hate another. There's so much power with that. And I've experienced that this year. And, my charming personality draws somebody. But Brody, I have never stop laughing. In my entire time here, had someone stand up at that microphone and give such a concrete message to this community. Both of you have done a wonderful job with him. Either that or you're just taking credit for something wonderful. I don't know, but Brody, last time I saw you last night, you were bleeding about the head and shoulders. I thought you were going to be an ambulance. Little did I know that you would be the hero of my service thus far. Young man, I will watch and hope it will never shock me to see what you turn into. I hate saying nice things. It's like giving away presents. It costs so much money. Anyway. Where I work, I don't go to city council and say, I have this problem, you need to solve it. You need to throw more money at me so I can solve my problem that I don't know what it is. And I've always said this district was always in a precarious position if you're dependent on funding sources that you don't have direct control over. And I always encourage this district to find an administrative team that understood we need more than the math that all the other kids get and the English that everybody else gets. And we need to take our own brand that makes our community different and provide things that grow people into adulthood to be productive, independent. I don't like to see people underemployed. I don't like to see people depressed. I like to see people predisposed to self-medication, and all that comes with not realizing your potential. So team, whether we like you or not, my measure, yeah, I'm talking to you for the next, 4 minutes while you're still here. We'll learn about that later, but I like dealing with an administrative team that's able to kind of think about how do we fund our initiatives instead of just throwing initiatives out there and talking about them and then not having the money. Guys, since you came around, there's 1.5 million average for the next 5 years coming in. The 2 end years have 700,000. And what I like most about this funding is the Secretary of Education, Thurman, has committed to try to put as many people in psychology and support services like that through scholarships for people to go to college for this type of thing to support mental health. And mental health is kind of like when they do the 5150 on you. Have you ever had a straight jacket on? I mean, I still have scars from one, but when they haul you away, it's too late. It's really too late. A kid has a problem in school, feels one way or another, and it is just too late. So mental health has a stigma to it that you got to erase, and erasing that, I didn't know how you would erase it while you're taking the funding for our teachers and the classified staff that support them, so we can put on more psychologists and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me to draw down the teacher pool and the support pool just so we can have somebody to share our feelings with. That didn't make sense to me. So if you guys are going to bring these programs in, now you're self-funding them and they don't come at the expense of our teachers. That is, I just look at your numbers. I smile at you and stuff, but you're just a number, and I look at your numbers and I love your numbers. I love what you put on the table. Again, my thing is try to look ahead and figure out and communicate to staff, making this addition, there's got to be some efficiencies gained along the way, where we're not completely dependent on that funding, because when the funding drops off, then everybody's up here puppy dogging me of like, why are you getting rid of these people? Because we ran out of funding. Okay. I know that there's a lot more paperwork that comes with this kind of money, because it costs you 3 times the money they'll give you to fill out the paperwork and the audit. So let's keep it clean, but try to figure out in the out years when the funding disappears, how we're not going to decimate this portion of it, make it going away. And please, when you're communicating to the public, I think this would be another one of these know your district things where you give a presentation about what this looks like. I'd like your presentation, and you're talking about tonight, and you're very humble about the stuff you brought into this district, and it may not, mean a whole lot when we're chatting with each other at the football game, but it's huge to me. This district has an administration team that knows how to look into the future and knows how to go get the money to do it. So congratulations to you all. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
I will start by wishing everybody a happy new year. It feels good to be back and get started on working towards common goals together. I want to first say that I wish Mr. Mascon well. I know that he would be here if he could be here. It's tough to miss one of our first meetings, and I know he's bummed that he is. I just want to let everybody know that he went ahead and looked at our agenda and sent notes, and he was doing his job as a board member. So I just want to commend him for going that extra mile above and beyond and making sure that his voice was still heard here, even though he can physically be here. Basketball and Brody. Brody, I want to thank you for including us in your season. That means a whole lot to me, that you thought of not just inviting your school, not just inviting your family, but you've invited the whole district, you've invited the whole town. I thoroughly enjoyed watching your game last night. I thoroughly enjoyed watching previous games. I really enjoy being able to announce your games. I'll do it whenever. I'm not great at it, but I will. I apologize for not being the best basketball announcer, but I really have a good time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for inviting me and including my family and including the rest of the board and the district office. Please tell your whole team and your coaches, thank you very much. Thank you for putting your heart out there. Thank you for playing a game that you love so that we can all come and enjoy watching you play that game that you love. I've watched you grow up. This is personal now. I've watched you grow up. You were a baby. You were a baby when I met you. When Cheyenne and Ty were in kindergarten, and you were just a little guy, probably, I think 3 years old. And you have grown into such an incredible young man. And I enjoy watching you here. I enjoy watching you with your family. I enjoy being in your presence. You just have that glow about you. And I know that is something that's just born into your heart, but it also comes from your mom and dad because they have the same glow. You know that, you do, Miss Shiloh. They just have this thing about them when they walk into a room. It gets brighter. So thank you for being you, and Shiloh and Rich, thank you for raising two amazing kids for all of us to enjoy. I really appreciate it. High Desert Cross Country. Some of those kids, watching them walk up here, some of those kids, I've known them since they were itty bitty too. I counted 5 of them that I have personally coached in T-ball and baseball. So it's super fun to be on this other end, watching them excel in other sports, and then also watching them do cross country, which is going to make them better come spring season of baseball. So thank you for doing what you do and keeping these kids active and making them excel and well-rounded. Ms. T and Marianne, I really appreciate you guys, and congratulations to our High Desert cross country, and huge congratulations to the Vasquez cross country girls. I just don't understand how people can just get out there and run. I've never been a runner. I just don't understand the love for it, but I appreciate that other people like to do it, and man, they are good at it, and they make it look good. So congratulations to all of our cross-country kids. Dr. Sahakian, congratulations on your grant. That is huge. I wanted to, when you were presenting it, I wanted to jump up and do flips. I don't do flips, but the thought was there. That is incredibly huge. So thank you for going above and beyond. That's not written in your contract that you have to get us grants. That's not part of your job that you were hired for. You were hired to run our district, but you have gone above and beyond and bringing all of these extras. It's not 1 or 2 extras, it's so many extras that you have brought into our district in the year and a half that you've been here, is altering our district in such a positive way. So I wanted to thank you for that. I would like to formally say in an open board meeting what my goals are as president for the next year. When I first got onto the board, when I was interviewing for the open board position, a couple of my goals that I had said in that interview were branding. I would like to expand on the branding. We've already started it. I don't feel like we're there yet. I feel like our district, to say we're a diamond, we're a hidden gem. We shouldn't be hidden. We need that branding to get us out. We don't need to be the hidden gem. We need to be the bright shining star. I know that we are. We need to let everybody know. So that branding that has already started, we need to really take off with it. So that is a goal, to get that on the right path and let everybody know how incredible this district is. That also coincides with a social media presence. I would like to see more social media out there targeting the audience that we intend to target. We're starting a little bit of social media presence. I don't feel like we're targeting the specific audience that we're intending to target just yet, but I feel like we could be on the right track. And I do feel like that takes time to build our social media presence, to see who our target is, to reach those people. And when I'm saying to reach our target audience, I don't mean out in Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley to bring new kids. I mean our target audience in this community. There are people in this community that have no idea what our school district is about. They don't know what we've got. They just think we're some rinky-dink schools, and they live next door. And those are the target people. I want to make sure that our community knows that we are the diamond in their community, that we are why they live here. And then that will trickle out and it will change the perspective that other people have on our district. I want to make sure that there's some students that go here, they go here because they choose to, they go here because they've looked at our school and they see how great we are. And they choose to bring their student here every single day. There's also people that don't have a choice. This is the school they go to because they don't have another choice for another school for their kid to go to. That is also our target audience. Those parents and those students and those family members need to know that even though this is their only choice, this is still their best choice. We are where their student needs to be, whether or not they have a choice to go somewhere else or not. That our school is the diamond that they need to be sending their students to. So our branding and our social media presence, I really want to bring that out and make it to where we want to go and make sure that we're on the right path and hitting those target audiences. One of the ways that I also want to do that is by listening to students. I talked to Dr. Sahakian and shared some feelings that I have and some ideas that I have. We've talked about, oh, I'm drawing a blank on the word. We've had people ask for town halls. I would like a virtual town hall, if you will. A suggestion box for students, for parents, for community members. Tell us what we're doing right. Give us kudos to our teachers, give kudos to staff. Tell us what you want to see. Do you want to see pavement instead of grass here? Do you want, just give us your suggestions, your ideas, also your complaints. If you're too shy to come forward at a board meeting, that takes guts to stand at that podium. I want to make a way to listen to the community as a whole. So I have talked to Dr. Sahakian about that and shared a bunch of ideas for the district to be able to listen to the community and really get the community involved in where we want to go and what we want to see, so that it is a group effort and we're not going down this road over here where we think people want, but really they want this. And we have sent out several surveys. That's not the type of thing that I'm going for. I don't want to survey on a specific thing. Just give us your, like town hall, give us your ideas, but it will be an ongoing virtual type thing. So we're not, I want to clarify, I'm not scheduling a town hall, even though I've said that like 4 times. My big one, mental health. My goal is to make our district have a measurable mental health avenue. I want to be able to see where our mental health is on our district. We can measure it by student, we can measure it by day, we can see our staff, and I'm not just talking students, I'm talking staff mental health as well. So our staff mental health means the world to us as far as how our students behave and how our district. I've gone off subject. I want to have a measurable mental health program on our campus so that we can look at data of mental health. We can see where we're at. We can see our highs and our lows. And then when we get the big picture over time, over the next year, we can see what were we doing right in April when the most of our students and staff, their mental health was great. What were we doing? What happened when, in this area, when it dipped? What's going on? What can we do right? How can we adjust ourselves? I want to make some way to make our district be able to measure our mental health and have data to back that up. So those are my goals for the next year in our district. That's all.
President Taxoni, may I make one comment quickly? One additional comment real quick.
If we're gonna do
Go around.
comments, yeah, we'll go ahead and go around. Tim, do you have any more comments?
I just want to comment, I think most of you know that our sports, baseball and softball was broken into and all the equipment was stolen. And Sheldon Sparks was, I mean, he was deflated. It's just, how can this happen to us, the kids? And I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Mirza, because apparently when Sheldon went to you, you said, don't worry about it, we got it covered, everything's going to be replaced. And that's the kind of confidence that I think really sends a signal about how well things can go. So the kids will have equipment and we'll get right back to it. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Not dragging it out or requiring too much red tape or whatever it is, but that's fantastic. And Brianna, thank you for your comments on your goals for the year. I appreciate that. That's all.
Good roll.
9, consent agenda, approval of consent agenda calendar items.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Nothing to pull.
No.
You good? Okay, call to question. All those in favor?
Bob Costin, aye.
Balls drop aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Consent calendar items approved with a vote of 4-0-0. 10, the personnel action report.
I'll move.
For this evening, we do not have any changes to the PAR personnel action report. Thank you.
Discussion?
I have a question regarding the TOSA, the Arts TOSA. I noticed on EdJoin, we are advertising for somebody for that position, that it is a certificated position. It's my understanding from the meetings with LACO that you guys have with Mr. Mirza, that position doesn't necessarily have to be a certificated person. And that might open up opportunities for the community to possibly fill in for that. And I think it was also mentioned that maybe a part-time person might be easier to find than a full-time person. So just a suggestion that maybe we change the way we're looking for that particular position to fill.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. Costin. Appreciate it.
Along those lines, I would expect the superintendent's office to make hiring recommendations. Are there any of these positions are purposely being aged for the dragon feet, pulling the recruitments on, off? Any of that?
No.
No budgetary holdups? Thank you. I'm done.
I'm going to start with, is it possible to vote to separate this, to vote for one position and the other positions separately? Is that a possibility? Or do we have to vote on it as it stands?
I think you might have to amend the PAR if you want, have a recommendation to amend it however you want, then separate them if you want to do it that way.
Is there a motion to separate the report?
I would make a motion, if that's what I need to do, I would like to make a motion to separate the bus dispatcher position.
Hang on. Do you have a second for that? Well, she wants to separate and vote by position. There's a reason I'm doing this. I don't want to have a 45-minute discussion and have the union filing complaints about discussing things that aren't on the agenda. So the question I have for point of order, do you want to separate this out by one position from the rest, maybe?
I do.
Do you have a second for that?
I'll second that.
I'll recuse myself from the discussion. Call me back when you're done.
So I wanted to separate out the bus dispatcher position from the other positions that are on the PAR report.
Madam President, if I may, rather than go into detail, so it's, if you want to recommend to table that position, just remove it from the PAR. And then deal with it separately and then pass the PAR if you want, but then leave, tell staff to come back with what, just pull that item off the PAR, I think is what you want to do rather than provide the actual specifics about what you want. And I need that table because we want to talk about that. So it's not on the PAR that we're going to consider tonight. And then just roll it over to next week or the next week or whatever. In your motion, I mean, just the motion to get something.
I don't know what I can say without getting into trouble. I don't need to hold it. I wanted to vote separately. I wanted to vote two different ways on the positions. So we can,
Move it to remove it from the PAR as is and have it stand alone.
that's what I would like to do. So I don't need to remove it if it's a position that needs to be voted on tonight. That's fine. I would just like two separate votes. That's my goal. So we already have a motion and a second to separate it. So should we talk about one position or the other so that we can all come back as a board? I would like everybody to be able to vote on what they want to be able to vote on.
I think the first thing you have to do, your motion was to separate, and we have a second to separate, and we discuss that, and then we act on that. If that passes, then you move on to another motion to figure out. You have to resolve the motion to separate.
Okay, so then we need a vote to separate.
As part of the discussion, I'm not sure why we're doing this. I wanted to hear what you had to say. That's why I seconded your motion.
The reason why is because I would personally like to vote on them separately. I have one vote for one and one vote. I do not have the same vote for every position. So it's a personal choice. I would like to vote two different ways. And I want to be able to cast my vote for what I want to vote on. If that makes sense. I don't want to vote on one. My vote is split if we leave it whole, and I would like to be able to vote on the positions separately. Because I have conflicting votes. So. Can we have a vote to separate the PAR?
The majority is no.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Okay, so we will leave the PAR as is. Moving on. Now we need to discuss the PAR. Do you have any discussion on the PAR as it is?
No, other than just it's not. It is. We had the discussion already.
And the PAR is back to where it is in the agenda. as written.
Okay, so my questions are. The bus dispatcher position. I made it clear when we voted for the position at a previous meeting. I did. In the past, this job was performed, these job duties were performed by somebody that is already a position in the district. Mr. Mirza made it clear that that person does not want to do these duties anymore. We have in 2020, we had several positions reduced in hours at the school sites. And in 2021, we had layoffs at the school sites. Since that time, during that time, and since that time, we have had 0 positions reduced or laid off at the district office level. We have not filled all of those positions at the school site. And then we're gonna add positions at the district office. So I'm gonna ask you, when a student wants to check out books on a school site, who checks books out? Who does that? Who does that function at a school site? The librarian does, but we don't have librarians. So without having librarians, since we've laid them off, who is checking out books to students on the school site?
We do have a principal here, Ms. Van Ornum, not to put her on the spot. However, in my experiences, and being a former elementary principal, just to hone in on elementary, I would have my teachers when the district that I worked for formerly reduced librarians or cut librarians, teachers would actually sign up for visits to the library with their classrooms for whether there's going to be any storytelling, reading, and also checking out books. So there has been ways to access literature and books from a library without a librarian, just based on my professional experiences and former hat and lens as a principal.
That works definitely for during the school year, but in the summertime when we are doing mass book checkouts and at the end of the school year when we are doing mass check-ins, teachers aren't performing those duties. So who is performing those duties for all of the books in the beginning of the year and checking them all in and making sure they're all there and in great shape for the following year?
Ms. Van Ornum, representing High Desert, our principal at High Desert. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Our teachers are, they retain the process to the library. I don't know what you guys.
That kind of breaks my heart, that we have a principal that's acting as a librarian, but then we're hiring other positions. Can I finish my comments and then is that okay?
The entire discussion, and then I'll speak as a tax-paying resident of this town.
I can be done. We do have a speaker card.
Well, Madam President, point of order, public comments that we're moving on in the agenda, and this is board member discussion now, where we as board members will discuss the item and we'll vote according to the motion that you have. We go back and forth as the board. I think this is focused on board member comments now about this action that we have a motion on the board that we have to deal with.
Okay, so I am done with my board member comments, so we can
So-
go around again if you'd like.
Right. So the concern that I'm hearing the concern you have is that the distinction between what we have on the personnel action report is for a school bus dispatcher. We have a responsibility to safely transport students from home, from the pickup point to school and back. We can't deviate from that. And then, so this is a critically important role that we need to fill. If it were like items, but it's not, the positions that you're talking about are not like items. That's something that site administrators do. I did it when I was dean of students. That goes with the responsibility of being the site administrator for that site. You fill in all vacancies until we get them filled. So it's not like students go unserved. But there's not, the comparison is not there between the dispatcher for transporting our students to and from our schools and site functions, library, cafeteria worker, things like that. Those are important roles, but they're not in that there's someone who can fill in for those because they're at the site all the time. We have somebody there.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree. I believe what you're looking for is we need to prioritize at some point rehiring of staff at locations that are for librarians and things, essential services that aren't being or being left to the principals at this point. But considering the transportation issues that we've had and the effects it has on the students and more so the parents who get calls about, hey, you know, the buses may or may not be running, or you may be doing a double shift, or, you know, those impacts I think are serious. And to get educated, you got to get to school. So if this is not about actually the position itself, but maybe liking to see some other positions filled before, you know, I suggest that maybe we look at what you're looking for, you know, on a agenda item coming. But I do have a question for Mr. Mirza. So this dispatcher, I noticed the name Cal Oglesby on the report. He did drive for us previously, correct?
Yes, he did.
And in his duties as dispatcher, if this is approved, will he be able to fill in for? No,
No.
okay. So does this get us to where we need to be to get reliable bus service for our students?
Currently, we have 3 drivers in their training near completion. Actually, one driver has a couple more hours left, but 2 are pending as well, finishing their training. But no, that specific bus driver that was hired for that dispatcher position not able to fill that need if we need it.
Okay. But the dispatcher position is
Is
going to be required to get kids to school. It can't be
It
given to
is,
somebody else.
it's required for handling complaints, handling customer concerns, or, yes.
All right, thank you.
Tom, if I may,
What-
the dispatcher is going to also be having the expertise and experience of a driver so they can communicate safely with our parents about concerns. So I think it's an added benefit that we have someone with experience there. That's all I have.
Okay, so, you made a statement that these job duties can't be given to somebody else. That is incorrect, because in the previous years, these job duties were handled within the district office. It was a payroll position that actually handled that. Before that, it was the payroll position, the front clerk. There are people in the district office that are capable. At the last board meeting or the board meeting before, when we voted on this position, Mr. Mirza commented that they don't want to. That is frustrating to me when we have people on campus, when we have people in the office that have in the past, that are capable of filling these duties, but they don't want to. That is frustrating. So because they don't want to, we are hiring an extra position in an already fully staffed district office when we have principals checking out books. Have you ever been in a library at the beginning or the end of the school year? That's exhausting, backbreaking, hard work. And we have principals filling in as other duties as assigned. So we're going to make our principals check out books. And when the principals can't do it, guess what? Our PTSO people are doing it. We have parent volunteers coming in and doing it because somebody complained that other staff other than a librarian was doing it. So we had other staff checking out books and we had a complaint from the union. So now a principal or a PTSO can do it. No other classified staff is able to do it, because the union complained. But then we're gonna hire a bus dispatch because people that are capable of doing it and should be doing it don't want to do it, or they haven't been asked. So I can tell you not every person in the district office that is capable and that is willing has been asked to fill in for these hours. We're just gonna hire somebody when we have not hired everybody back at the school sites. So we could take this 3.75 hours and put it at a school site. But we're not going to, because somebody at the district office doesn't want to do the position. That is completely frustrating to me as a board member, as a parent, as a community member, as an ex-employee, as an ex-CSEA president. That is mind-boggling to me that we're hiring an extra position because people don't want to do it, and people that do want to do it haven't been asked to do it. So we're going to hire this extra position. That's why I wanted to separate it out. So my next comments, we have 2 5th grade teachers on our PAR report. We should be able to celebrate that. We are so excited to get those teachers in, teaching our classes, give those 5th grade teachers some continuity, give those 5th grade classes some continuity. We do need to be celebrating that. So while I did bring down this area of our board meeting, I do want to celebrate. I want to congratulate Mrs. Van Ornum for her 2 new teachers on her campus. I'm sure that's so exciting. Congratulations to the parents that have been in here, seated along the back wall, that fought and fought and fought. I know Miss Fallgatter isn't even here, but congratulations on fighting for what you believed in and fighting for all those 5th grade kids. And I'm so excited to finally have 2 full-time 5th grade teachers. That is awesome. If Miss Shaw was here or Miss Mulligan were here, I would congratulate them on their hard work on that too. So is there any other discussion on the PAR report?
I'm on the positive side of this, that student safety is paramount. We need reliability of having somebody in there. We can't force people to go in there. We can't go out, we just can't work with, oh, I can do it today, but I can't do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have a responsibility for safety to get them to and from campus. We have bargaining units, we have all this stuff that we have going on. This is a position that we need to fill. And I just would like us to just go ahead and process it. And then these other concerns can be addressed so we can deal with them. But this is one that we need to fill and get done.
That is where we do disagree. I do not feel that this position has anything to do with student safety.
Well, I'm going to push my way. I'm going to
let's go
push
ahead
back for a
and-
second, Madam President, because I have students that live down my street, and I see the parents wait for the buses, and the buses are late, and then the kids are walking because the timing was off, and they weren't alerted that there was a delay, and they walk. It's only a half mile. I walked 3 miles to school. It wasn't a big deal, but times have changed, and our parents want our student safety to come first before all else. And so I watch the buses, they put on the red lights and cars just rush right by them. I take videos of them and I call the sheriff every time I see it when I'm at my mailbox drop. And so all of these things are there, and I don't think that we can discount the importance of the safety of our students to get them our buses to the campus and take them back home.
I will agree. The safety of our students is number 1 all the time. Safety, absolutely number 1. Hiring a bus dispatcher is not going to stop people from running the bus red light somewhere on Escondido Canyon Road. It's having this dispatcher is not. First of all. Second of all, we have had this position covered for years. It's been covered. This is not a new duty. It's been covered, and it's been covered by somebody competent. It's been covered by somebody, and it's not just one somebody, several somebodies, that they can't just say, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. You go ahead and do it today. You go ahead and do it today. It was assigned to them by their supervisor. It was their hours. It was part of their job duties. It was not other duties as assigned. It was not, I feel like doing bus dispatch today. How about you? Oh, do you want to come in at 6? No, not really. That's not how it was. It was their duty. It was their assignment. It was what they got paid for. When that person retired, things changed because they just didn't want to, according to what Mr. Mirza said at a previous
And
board
we
meeting.
can't force people to work where they don't want to work if it's not part of their employment agreement. We would like them to do, we like volunteers. I love it that parents are volunteering and
Nobody's
working
saying
with us.
Okay, we need to move on because we
Okay.
are clearly not understanding.
Then we call the question.
Call.
Yeah.
Okay, every time.
I just know that whatever's going on right now with the buses, it's not working. It's our responsibility to make it work. So Mr. Mirza believes, is this our best opportunity to make this work?
I believe that this position is definitely needed to be full-time and filled with a permanent position and not ask somebody to willingly change their hours to come in early if that doesn't work for them.
And I'll also say that in the world, not everybody has the same skill sets. And if it's not happening, we need to fix it. And I'm in favor of fixing it. So that's all.
I would agree with that. I think that that comes with also buses that run adequately and bus drivers that are able to come in every day. I think that's where our problem is that we don't have the actual drivers every single day. So let's work on fixing that as well, but that doesn't have, that's another discussion. Let's go ahead and call for question. All those in favor of the car.
You have a comment card.
Tim Jorgensen, I.
Costa and
I will protest the vote formally. You have a comment card.
I'm sorry, Ken. I have a comment card.
Ken Fallsgraf, 34520 Red Rover Mine Road. I'm a taxpayer and a parent of this district. I was elected to the board. Most people up here were elected to the board. I truly believe that when people walked in and we filed our papers, people chose to either run, they chose not to run. Better click the timer on so I don't get too windy here. But no one forced me to run for the board. No one forced these two gentlemen to run for the board. And when the candidate pool came up, nobody else came up. That's why your board is Mr. Fallsgraf, Mr. Costan, and Mr. Jorgensen, and the president. But nowhere in the board duties is it part of it to microanalyze the performance of the superintendent ever. And we lower ourselves into picking and choosing what we want to talk about and who gets hired. We are actually slapping both associations in the face. You've heard me ask as a board member, was this run by the associations? So when we start micromanaging the superintendent's things, and I want to have a town hall meeting right now, damn it, because I don't like you or whatever you're doing. And it's really important to me to be popular. My one vote that I made for whoever I vote for was to put people up here that are competent enough to hire someone in that position. And in my time at the board, and I'm not speaking as a board member right now, but he and his team are held to the highest levels. And we start dipping down into telling them who they should hire, and then egregiously going above and beyond that by mentioning names of who the candidates are on the PARS report. If I'm that person whose name was read out tonight, I have a problem. You all have undermined my ability to be hired and embarrassed me in a public meeting that's televised. Board, I would suggest you as a taxpayer that you grow up and respect the superintendent's recommendations. And if you don't, vote no, but do not air out things that rob certain people and organizations of their right to due process. A union can handle this. There's not something, I don't force anybody to apply for a job. It was an open recruitment. Let's grow this up a little bit. I'm excited to hear your vote now.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Costin, yes.
I would love to vote yes and do backflips on most of these positions, but I made a vow to myself that I will never vote to put more positions at the district office before our school sites. So knowing that our fifth grade teachers and our assistant track coach are going to go through, and this has nothing to do with any one person, it has to do with positions. This is not personal. It's not about names on the sheet. It's about the position and the location. I will vote no based off of the one position. So the PAR report does,
Fails. The entire list fails. So all of these teachers that we have.
it's
they're
not 2 to
they're
1.
not employed now.
It's not 2 to 1. We all have to vote.
No,
It's a majority vote, 2 to 1.
Are you sure?
Do we need to take a
No,
look
I'm
at
actually not
bylaws to
sure.
clarify this?
Maybe someone should go call the attorney now.
Maybe we should just look at our bylaws, okay?
If it fails, I thought that it was 2 to 1 so that it would pass. I need the fifth grade teachers to pass. Ken, does it fail if it's 2 to 1? I thought it was majority.
That's great.
Oh my God,
So,
this is crazy.
Mr. Hockett,
I will vote yes. I'm gonna change my vote. I'm gonna vote yes so that our fifth grade teachers go through and our assistant track coach goes through. So it will be a vote of 3-0-2. The PAR report passes. Eleven, business services, 11A, 21-22 audit report.
I'll move.
second,
Ken moves, Tim seconds.
Thank you. 12A, 21-22 audit report. We have utilized Christie White and Associates CPAs for the auditing of our financial statements for the fiscal year of 21-22. Tonight, they'll be sharing their findings with the community and our trustees. Mr. Mirza, anything you'd like to add?
No, Natalie, we have Natalie Palma from Christie White to report the findings.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. So like they mentioned, my name is Natalie Palma and I'm an audit supervisor with Christie White Associates. I was sort of the one to help facilitate the audit for this fiscal year. I thought I'd start off by giving a little overview of our procedures, kind of the things that we took a look at and tested, and then at the end, I'd go over a little bit of our results. In 21-22, we conducted our audit of the county funds, capital assets, long-term debt, and compliance with state and federal law. Our audit covers a broad range of areas. We did school site testing, which includes the testing of attendance. We documented and tested internal controls in areas such as purchasing and cash disbursements by taking a look at checks, invoices, and purchase orders and or other approvals. Payroll by taking a look at time cards and personnel files, and cash receipts by taking a look at invoices, receipts, and deposits. We also conducted a single audit, which includes testing of internal controls and program compliance in one major program this year, which was the Education Stabilization Funds, or also known as the ESSER and GEAR program. And finally, we tested all the June 30th, 2022 balance sheet accounts, such as cash, accounts receivables, accounts payables, capital assets, and long-term debt with revenue and expenditures across all funds by taking a look at bank statements and reconciliations, debt statements, and capital asset listings. Our financial statement opinion, our state compliance opinion, and our federal compliance opinions were all unmodified, which is the best opinion that you can receive. There were no financial statement findings or federal compliance findings, but there was one state compliance finding and can be found detailed on page 81 of the audit report. The finding is for the comprehensive school safety plans. Per the California Ed Code that we follow, all plans must be approved by the board by March 1st of the fiscal year. And during our audit, we found that the plans were adopted on March 10th. However, there are no question costs or penalties for this finding, and it is not a repeat finding for this year. It was the first year that we found this finding. And like I mentioned, there are no penalties for it. Other than that, a little financial highlights. I think long-term obligations has decreased by about 7.4 million in the last 2 years, and this is primarily related to the CalSTRS and CalPERS pension liabilities that are determined by the actuaries. That's about it. That all I had. I do want to thank everyone at the district office for all their assistance and all their hard work in getting us all of our samples and requests. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I have none. Thank you for your assistance and working with Mr. Mirza in our financial department.
Thank you.
No questions.
Comment, I know there was a lot of safety plans that were related to this ESSER and changing and COVID and protecting classrooms and stuff like that. And if my memory serves me right, especially in the past 2 years, there was stuff coming down that if you're a big district and you have a lot of staff in place, you writing these plans and stuff and boilerplating off of someone else was more commonplace, but in a smaller district, the administrative staff trying to put something together that didn't exist before was a kind of a challenge. And 9 days difference with no financial, you didn't take the tag off your mattress too, right? Okay, and you kept all your raffle coupons too, right? Okay. So I don't find this significant. What I find significant about this report is for the first time in my time on the board, there are no axillary organizations that are funded that have any findings. None of these are findings. I don't even believe there's a recommendation. And when there was 9 days missed or something like that, the current status is that everything is in compliance now. This is the first totally clean audit I've ever seen in my time as a board member. Congratulations. Too bad you're not going to be around long enough to enjoy it. Brianna.
I don't have any comments except to say thank you very much. I appreciate it. Vote to approve the 21-22 financial audit report. Call for question. All those in favor?
Is this an action item or just a report?
It says it's recommended that the Board of Trustees approves the 2021-22 financial audit report, and Ken motioned and you seconded. You did.
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Costin, yes.
You okay, Grandpa? Paul Draft, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. The audit report is approved by a vote of 401. Item 11B has been tabled. So item 11C, proposal Frank Fava Roofing, not to exceed $14,880.
I'll move.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
Thank you. This is for repairs for the High Desert roof. It's an older roof, and Frank Fava, contractor, is very familiar. For our M&O, Mr. Mora, indicating that he's very familiar with the roofing condition. And so it's recommended for approval for roofing repairs for High Desert. Thank you.
Discussion?
Ms. Van Orm, did I see you up on the roof of your house driving down Sierra Highway that you can help out and supervise this? As part of your duty? No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't have any. Thank you.
I don't want to repeat my question, Tim. Are you voting?
He said discussion. I think that-
About the contract?
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
We didn't finish discussion. Tom, do you have anything?
Nothing, no, other than I've never seen a handwritten quotation in 10 years.
Okay, now I have some discussion. What is the superintendent's purchase limit before it comes to the board?
50,
How much?
50,000,
So this isn't 50.
correct.
What is the requirement from LACO for you to get formalized bids from 3 different bidders? What's the value of the project? It's $109,000. Yeah, okay. So did you break bid process here? Was it a napkin and it did have gravy on the bid? No. Okay, I'm done next.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Costin, yes.
Falls Gap, yes.
Brianna Texoni, yes. The proposal is approved by a vote of 4-0-1. Item 12A, calendar.
We just had 11. And now we have 12. 13 is future agenda items.
Hang on, hang on, I have a problem. Kim, you can call me grandpa now. I need to reopen, do I have a motion to reopen? Thank you.
No. Take you back as soon as the.
You go out in the audience and fill out a speaker card. You like that one? Anyway, I want to reopen, I make a motion to reopen the consent calendar because I want to talk about the Williams report. Can I have a second?
So you want to reopen the consent calendar to
Just
discuss
the Williams.
9D. So
item.
9D, I will second reopening item 9D. The Williams settlement.
We have to vote.
All those in favor? Tim, would you like to vote on reopening item 9D Williams settlement?
I'll give Grandpa a shot, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Question.
Doing discussion,
None.
Tim, Tom,
No.
There may be someone I'm done. The Williams settlement is right here. Put up a historical marker. I forgot something. Second quarter, October 1st to December 31st, there were 0 teacher vacancies and misassignments. I remember that someone stood at the speaker podium nearly every board meeting and told us that the 5th grade teacher, that there was a complaint filed. Yeah, are we just in the wrong reporting period?
It was reported for first quarter, sir.
Oh, I didn't know that. But so we have reported that the person that stood up here that reported that was captured in a previous one.
Correct,
That person was heard.
correct.
So did that result in a finding against the district?
Yes, 1.
What did they tell you? To go hire teachers in an impossible hiring market? Is that kind of,
No, they understood the climate across the nation regarding teacher shortages, but it is still a finding.
of course it is. But was the district penalized in any way?
No,
I'm not suggesting that someone should not stand at the microphone. What I'm suggesting is I want to memorialize that that person did file, that filing was captured, and that there was a finding against the district for that. That kind of came up in a previous discussion, that kind of, when I was in the audience as a public member. Okay, I'm done.
there's nothing to vote on, so we can just move on to the calendar.
I reopened it. I think we have to vote.
We have to.
We have to re-vote on it.
Yes.
Okay. Call for question. All those in favor?
How about more discussion?
We can,
Yes, the climate is tough. But And I know that Mr. Paulsgraf is not using it as an excuse for anybody not to get hired, because I know he said, have we looked? Yes. Have we deferred this? We've been trying. I'm very happy we have these 2 teachers. But I just wanted to say that regardless of the climate, regardless of what goes wrong or goes right, it's our responsibility to get these positions filled. So even though it's a negative finding, it took a long time. I think we've met our responsibility, which is good. You just have to remember that regardless of what it looks like out there in the world, this is here, and we always have to concentrate on what is here. That's all.
No, good.
I have no discussion. All those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Costin, yes.
Paulsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Approve the Williams settlement for vote 401. Moving on to 12A calendar. We have 2 board meetings. Our next regular board meeting is January 26, 2022, followed by a regular board meeting on February 9th, 2022. Moving on to 13A future agenda items. So we have the governance training, masters in governments and Brown Act workshop. Dr. Sahaki, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure. The governance training, the trustees have been provided through AALRR, who will be presenting the information. One of 2 options, a 30-minute presentation, which is a little bit more condensed version of the governance training, which could be held during a regular board meeting, or a lengthier presentation, more comprehensive, which will take about an hour and a half approximately. And the AALRR mentioned that will probably take a special board meeting for the hour and a half governance training. Just wanted to put that up.
Can we get a discussion, board members sharing your wishes on whether you would rather have the 30-minute during a board meeting training or the lengthier?
I don't think we can vote on that right now. I think the superintendent should poll the board members through you and figure out what the consensus is that way, and then post it as a public meeting.
That's where we'll go with that. 14 adjournment.
Move.
Motion, and was that Tim?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Wait, do we have discussion? Grandpa, the bus is outside. I approve, yes.
Yes.
Tom laughed, yes.
Brianna Texoni, yes, meeting is adjourned at 9:37.